Alright guys, Paul back here again with a new video, and I know the title of this says it's a United States belt discussion. Just be warned, it's mostly just a talk between me and my idiot mate. So we discuss the belt occasionally, but yeah, if you just want to see two idiots rambling about a lot of nothing, continue. If not, I don't blame you for clicking off. Alright guys, Paul back here again with a new video, and in this one I've got my good friend with me. He is a self-proclaimed belt expert. He knows everything there is to know about belts. So he demanded that he would be on this video with me to share his insider knowledge. What we're doing in this video is we're talking about the brand new released United States Championship. So Aaron, introduce yourself to the dozens of people.
There are dozens of us. Dozens. Yeah, you pretty much encapsulated it all there, man. I am probably the preeminent belt expert walking the face of the earth. I have come into contact with a grand total of about 3 belts. So as a result, I'm a quick learner. And listen, you want to know about belts, man. This is your guy.
This guy.
This guy. No, seriously, thanks for having me on, man. It'll be good to talk shit about belts. To be quite frank, I'm not a belt expert in the slightest.
He knows everything there is to know.
Yeah, that too in my spare time. I'm coming from a layman's perspective, and obviously we're going to talk about that new US title. But yeah, happy to be on the Paulmartinbelts YouTube channel, boy. So yeah.
You're the worst kind of person.
Why am I the worst, man? I'm just being me. Would you want me to not be myself?
I mean, it would be preferable. Can you be someone famous so I can have them on my channel?
Where have I heard this from before? Oh, hello, Mum.
Oh. This is legit just turning into therapy immediately for me.
This just got dark so quickly. Yeah. It just literally just turned into, why does my mum hate me?
I don't even, it doesn't have how long this has been recording for, but I'm assuming it's the best part of 90 seconds, and you're already having an emotional breakdown.
And already it's just like the sound of silence in like YouTube form, you know? It's just, hello darkness, my old friend.
Okay. I mean, you've seen the belt, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have you got a photo of it in front of you?
No. Do you know what? Why didn't I do that?
I mean, you can see the reflection in my cabinets. I've got it in front of me.
Listen, okay? Like you said, belt expert. Do I need to look at things like this, or do I not just have it stored in my eidetic memory? Right, come on, new
in
US
that photographic memory.
In the photographic memory that lasts for all of 2 minutes before the photograph gets burned in front of me. If you're asking for my opinion on it, buddy, which I thought I'd do your segue for you, yeah, I've got a picture of it here. As you know, when you first showed it to me this morning, because I didn't watch Raw last night, I didn't even see the clip of it before I woke up to your message of it this morning. I was, as I am in most belts, I was quite undecided when I first saw it. I like the old US belt. It's not my favorite belt ever, but I liked it a lot. And with most belts, it takes a while to grow on me. Even if I didn't like the old belt, like, so for example, I really didn't like the old NXT women's belt. Really didn't like it. It was kind of like, I got what they were doing with it.
The little silver one with the stones, yeah.
The page one.
Oh yeah, that one.
The glossy title.
The very glossy Alberto Del Rio endorsed title. Get less said about that, the better.
Do the whistle and the little thing that he did. Yeah, like even with that belt, I didn't like it. But I'm just so resistant to change basically with everything. So like when they brought in the new NXT women's belt, you could just tell it was objectively infinitely better, but it took a while to grow on me. This belt grew on me really, really quite quickly. Like I took all of about 15, 20 minutes at most. And I looked at it quite a lot over that period because, you know, I'm a sad fuck with nothing else to do in my life at the moment.
Yeah.
And it really grew on me quite quickly, and it kind of reminds me of the what's the current NWA TV title, isn't it? In shape, kind of looks similar.
The NWA TV.
Yeah, am I chatting at my bum here?
I'm trying to. I'm thinking of the classic NWA TV. You mean the one that Austin held and the likes of those?
Yeah, I think so.
I suppose it's got the same a sort of shape, I suppose. Yeah.
Belt expert.
Belt expert. I mean, you're talking about a belt that I've obviously seen dozens of times, hundreds of times, and I'm sitting here thinking like, what the fuck does that look like again?
Well,
Um,
to be fair, when you questioned me there, I just immediately start questioning myself. Yeah, carry on. Sorry, bud.
no, no, I see what you mean. When I first, I mean, I stayed up to watch Raw. I never do. I stayed up specifically to see the
Yeah,
belt
no, you don't.
unveiled because of all the rumors about the belt being unveiled. All the dirt sheets put these rumors forward, and all their
Yeah,
sources, which is actually just Belt Fan Dan. Go follow him on Twitter or
yeah,
Instagram if you need actual belt info from the original source.
yeah.
That's a
Go to
plug
him.
for Dan. But yeah, as
Mhm.
soon as I saw the belt debut on TV, I mean, the TV lighting on it is really bad.
Yeah.
When that first shot, I think it was the first one I sent you, was
Mhm.
the house lights on the belt
Yeah.
shining everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that lighting, I didn't think it looked all that good. But having said that, almost immediately after it debuted on TV, it showed up on WWE Shop, and the photos on there.
Much better.
I'll tell you what, I actually think I like this a lot.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, it's not in my top tier of favorite belts, but
No.
as someone who doesn't like follow belt design or anything like that, it might not make much sense to you, but this belt is 3D to fuck. And what that
Yeah.
means is,
Mm.
for anyone that is watching that doesn't know either, a 2D belt is a single layered belt. Say, for example, the Big Eagle, the Attitude Era belt. It's one layer, it's 4 millimeters thick. Some layers are raised, some are etched away. Two
Yeah.
layers, 2D. That's essentially what that means. 3D was the first most famous 3D belt, was the original Big Gold. I know you like that one. Not the original, the first WWE logoed Big Gold. You know, the one that debuted at
David
Mania
Allen.
19 that
Yeah.
a certain Chris Benoit held and Orton won from him. That one was 3D.
Sorry. A certain vacant held.
A certain Steven Richards, I'll have you know. But no, what 3D is, it means that the CNC machine etches it at any level, so it can have flow to it. It can, like the spinner belt. The eagle on the spinner belt has loads of different details to its feathers and shit like that, and that's what this belt is. It's CNC etched, which, for one,
That's cool.
it means that bootlegging it for people that do bootleg it is going to be incredibly difficult, and also
Yeah.
there's no need to bootleg it because the replica looks amazing, which is
Yeah.
probably the reason WWE is doing like these really, like the new 2019 Intercontinental, the globes on the side of the center plate are a different level as well, which makes it difficult to copy if anyone was looking to go down that path, which is smart by WWE. But overall, I don't know if you've seen the gold and silver tip on it, but it's not great. That's probably the only part I don't like.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, in my belting expertise, I'd actually sort of omitted that, so I'll have to go and have a look with my trained eye again. But yeah, to follow on from what you said, originally the photo that you showed me, and obviously that was because of, as you say, the lighting. I wasn't that impressed with it, but it really does look good on the shop photos, and I quickly realized that I prefer it to the old belt quite significantly. And again, old belt wasn't my favorite belt. Didn't really like it. I did, and obviously it's a lot of history. And you and I were speaking about it last night about certain individuals that look really good on. Another certain Canadian with a temperament issue being one of them. But to put it mildly, yeah, it's really good. And I have to be honest, both of the secondary titles now, and this isn't exactly going to be a hot take. I'm sure everyone has this take, but both of the secondary titles for me look better than the world titles. And I don't necessarily think that's a problem or anything, because it gives prestige to two titles that really desperately need it with regards to how they've been booked for, the better part of a decade and probably longer. But yeah, they're really nice. They're both two nice belts. And I thought the US belt, and I'll let you get to it because no one wants to hear me waffle for too long. But the US belt looked really good on MVP. I thought in that seat, in the suit, excuse me. I thought it looked really good because, I mean, the old US title, for as much as it is quite nice, it was almost quite cartoony in a way.
Oh yeah,
And so with someone wearing like formal attire like that, it maybe would look a bit out of place. I remember Owens had it, and it kind of looked a bit on him. But,
when he was the face of America gimmick.
America, when he walked out on his giant fucking, and that, do you know the best thing about that, for a quick sidebar, is how he never walked over his own face. He always walked around his face.
He did.
He never walked over it. It was such a nice little touch, and
Like
it's just an absolute boss man that he is. But Yeah, it looked really good on MVP. He's obviously not going to win it, but it looked really good, and I'm sure it's, as most belts do with me personally, it's only going to get better over time the more I look at it.
See, I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. The belt is certainly growing on me since I saw it last night for the first time. The only thing that I'm seeing constantly, people, I don't know if you've taken a good look at the center plate, but people are constantly pointing out at the top of the center plate where it's got the white stars. People are confused why there's no blue paint around the white stars, because it's etched and it kind of looks like it should be filled in with paint. The gold area does have a kind of texture which catches the light nicely in different angles that will be on TV. But it does kind of look a bit weird that the champion is painted in blue, but the area around the stars isn't. And I've seen many people commenting about that.
Yeah. What's your take on the big champion? Because it reminds me a little bit of the WWE belt that Rock debuted in 2013. What do you think of it?
Yeah, actually, a few people had mentioned that's known as the big logo belt. Creative, ain't it?
Yeah.
I think it's actually almost the same. It could be the same font actually used. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't double checked that. I'm not sold on the massive champion banner. I don't know if I would prefer it at the bottom of the plate and the eagle being in the middle. Don't get me wrong. I like the belt more and more the more I actually see it. I think that the detail on it is amazing. There's people shitting on it, as is expected with any new belt. But I don't think those people realize how much detail there actually is in this thing. I mean...
buddy, like when you were going over a few things there, I mean, the only point of reference I had there was I've worked with a CNC machine before, so I kind of, in my head, I was like, oh, okay, fair enough, that kind of makes sense. But with regards to some of the things you went over there, like myself, all gimmick aside, it wouldn't be something I would have even noticed for a second, So it's good that we have someone like you to point it out. Hey,
someone like me that pretends to know what they're talking about, and
someone like you,
someone like me. My daughter, Stephanie.
Right, so to kind of build upon our previous query, I'm having a look at the 2013 WWE title belt, and don't know if it's the same font, but they look very similar.
I could have saved you looking it up. I've got one right there in the cabinet.
You have the big logo belt behind you?
Yeah, it's down there. No, it's not the exact same font, but it is actually very similar. It's a really similar font actually.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, buddy, did I cut you off there?
No, you go ahead.
All I was going to ask is, what would you do to improve upon it? I think you've kind of briefly touched on things, but just to give everyone a rundown.
I mean, I've seen a few concept photos of that area up the top painted in blue, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't hate it in gold as it is. I think it looks fine in gold. I know because of the kind of detail that's in that gold area, it will catch the light differently on different angles, which will look pretty cool. Yeah. And I do like that. The thing I think it looks a bit strange is on the side plates, there's no paint. Like there's etched areas for a star, there's stripes. And whereas the center plate has a lot of paint, the side plates have none at all, which, I don't know. It just looks... The side plates look a little unfinished, in my opinion. That's probably my main gripe. As well as that, on the circular side plates, like every superstar now has their own side disc, and they're removable. For some reason, on the 2019 Intercontinental and now the 2020 US title, the stones that were the side disc design is the same that's on the WWE, the Universal, I think the UK originally. So the design is the same, but on these two new belts, the IC and the US, the stones that were crystals, cubic zirconia on the real belt, on the US and IC are designed into the plate and etched into it rather than having a stone itself. It's kind of just it's an octagonal shape, just circling the border of the side plate of the side disc. And I don't know, the etched stones look a bit weird to me. So my only real improvement that I can think of immediately is potentially paint the top of the center plate blue. I don't think it's entirely necessary, but I would probably add a little bit of paint, at least to the side plate holder, the bit with the star and the stripe, probably. I think that might... Just a bit of color to pop on the side plates, because it's a bit strange seeing all the color on the center plate and none on the side plates.
Yeah, and do you know what? Actually, I've just had a look at the side plates, specifically searched for them, and yeah, it does. It is quite a jarring juxtaposition when you see that there is quite a significant amount of color on the front,
Yeah.
and then on the sides, yeah, it probably could do with a
The
touch
fact
up.
that it goes from so colourful on the centre plate to none on the side plates looks a bit
Yeah,
strange to me, but
yeah.
I mean, they look good. I actually like them. Like we said to the start of this video, I had a similar opinion to you when I first saw it. I mean, I stayed up to watch Raw only to see the belt. I turned it off right after the segment ended and went to
Nutter.
sleep. Actually, that's a
Absolute
lie. I
nutter.
stayed on Instagram and Facebook because my comments were blowing up. So I turned Raw off and stayed on for like 30 minutes. But I can't remember the point I was making. Something about paintball.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, professional broadcasting. Losing your train of thought. That's what you all do. That's what all the greats do. You got Paxman just asking questions, and midway through he goes, "Oh fuck, where was I?" No, it's. I'll be honest with you. Like, I remember, like, I've seen pictures of it. I'm trying to remember who wore it in WWE from when, because I'm watching WCW back slowly now. I haven't watched it in ages. But the US title from around then, and the one that they brought in 2001 before they changed it, like, I probably prefer this to that. I'd say. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I quite like that belt. I do. I quite like that belt. I probably prefer that to the one that we've just had for the last nigh on 20 years. But I'd probably say that I prefer this one. It's maybe the best one of my wrestling watching lifetime, perhaps.
Specifically US belt, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not overall.
No,
But
that's
like,
fair.
no.
So do you
But still,
include, is that WWE and WCW? Because a lot of people are saying, you know what the IWGP US belt looks like, don't you? The one with the red strap.
oh yeah. Talk about belts taking a while to grow on me.
Mm, that's not an uncommon take as far as I've
It's
seen.
by that I still mean that it's a work in progress. Like, it's when I because it was who was it? It was it and someone will probably call me out on this, but I think it was Kenny and Ishii in
The,
like a super card of honor. I
that
think, 'cause I
first
remember
debut that
watching.
you mean, or
Yeah, where the match was, and I think it's where they did the spot where Ishii was going to do the German suplex, and he took fucking ages and milked it. This is from a very mate. I probably
in
watched that.
Japan? What?
It wasn't even in Japan. It was in the
Milking a
States.
spot in Japan?
Yeah, well, they do that. They don't have a lot of milk out there. They don't like lactose, apparently. Just just a little, just for anyone wondering about Japanese dietary habits. There you go. Yeah, that belt. I mean, yeah, that belt is still hasn't really grown on me. And like I said, I'm someone who continuously has to kind of look at a belt for it to grow on me, even over a quite extended period of time. And that still really hasn't. This is far superior to that. Where would you rank this in current belts in the major companies, maybe, or just anywhere? If
I
you want
mean,
to
if
expand
we're
on
just
that.
talking WWE belts, I
We
mean,
can
what do
start
we
there. Yeah.
have? We have the Universal and the WWE, which are the same belt. The two women's belts, which are the same belt. The NXT belts being, well, the women's and men's, the same belt essentially, with a few color changes. The North American is probably up there for me. The NXT North American.
Me too.
That one.
Me too.
No, wait. Where is it?
Did you point to the wrong belt?
Yep. I pointed to the NXT Heavyweight. The North American's underneath it.
Losing your train of thought, pointing to the wrong belt. Like,
Well, I mean, there's
such
there's an NXT there. There's an NXT Heavyweight there. Another one there, and another one up there. So I don't know. But yeah, I like the NXT North American title a lot. It was questionable for me when it first debuted, but again, it grew on me quite quickly.
Yeah.
The 2019 Intercontinental, I like the design. I don't like the color scheme. Like, I've shown you the photoshops done with the blue paint and the sometimes white strap. Like, yeah, I mean, if anyone follows me on Instagram, which you all should, at Paulmartinbelts, you'll have seen I'm in the progress of making one of those. So it will be with the blue paint. I've added stones to it already, and white paint on the logos, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really like it.
I know you're a huge fan of that. I see. Like I
I
said, I
really don't.
like the design of it. It's just I'm not a huge fan of so much black paint on a belt.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that 100%. And especially when you showed me the sort of concept of it colored in,
Mm.
akin to the sort of classic globe front plate. Yeah, it looks great, man. It looks
Mm.
fantastic. But would you in WWE have this then? What, third, fourth, fifth favorite belt around
This
there?
US, you mean?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what goes ahead of it? I mean, as a guy who works on belts, I personally love the WWE Heavyweight, the Universal, the women's belts. I love them because of the because I work with them every day. So I see the detail that's on these belts and I can appreciate more potentially than someone just looking at the belt plainly. So I
Yeah.
am a huge fan of the real versions of the Universal and the Heavyweight because the real copies of those are so much more detailed than, for example, the replica belts. Like there's so much
Yeah.
more depth there's so much more CNC levels and layers to the real ones. So I'm a huge fan of the real ones simply because of how detailed they are. Design wise, I mean, obviously they're just a massive logo, so there's not much to it. I'm trying to think, what would I actually put ahead, like definitely ahead of this US belt? I mean, the tags, no.
No.
The cruiserweight, no. The UK belt is really popular. I like the UK belt a lot. It's not my favorite belt. Again, too much black paint for my liking.
Yeah. Do you know what? It probably was my favorite belt, right? Until you mentioned that. And it's a kind of not a stone cold glass shattering way, but it's like that kind of glass shatters in your head where you're just like, oh fuck, I can't unsee that now. And it has somewhat fallen in my estimation since you've told me, you bastard. Just let me enjoy things.
That's what
Just
I
let
do.
me like things that I like. But yeah,
Sorry,
it's
mate.
all you, man. It's all you, man. Like I was, I loved Dundee United beforehand, and now I'm a massive
You're an absolute staunch Celtic supporter.
up the Huns. No,
Yeah, I don't know
I
if we
don't.
can say that in a video or if I'm gonna have to beep that or. But here's a segue for you. Oh, yeah. Speaking of things you cannot unsee, the amount of comments that I've got on my Facebook and Instagram of the cock and balls on this belt.
Right, yeah. Let's touch upon this now. Commenters on the PMB pages. I'm speaking directly to you guys now. What are you seeing that I'm not? Because I understand that you can find phallic imagery in a lot of things if you search hard enough. But I don't see it, man. Like I really don't. Like it's an eagle. It is an eagle.
Well,
It
I
is
mean,
not a set of male genitalia.
well, I
It's
mean, when
not.
I first saw the belt on TV, the two silver areas around the eagle's head, the two silver areas around the eagle's head are the balls. That's what people are seeing as the balls. Some outlines I've seen using the eagle's body downwards as the remainder of the phallic imagery, and some have
Right.
outlined upwards towards the logo of at the top of the belt as the phallic imagery.
Right.
And some
Okay.
people think the eagle is just an owl because they think the two silver parts are just big owl eyes. And I legitimately saw a comment of someone saying, they're putting fucking owls on belts. What are they copying Impact for? I'm like, mate, no.
Oh, mate, you could have just had it as Al Snow, Like it could have been Al Snow. And that would be a great gimmick if Al Snow, obviously he was the head guy. He could just turn his whole head around and just look at you. And he only did it at night. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about now.
Wait, are you pitching Al Snow as an owl?
I'm pitching Al Snow. Of course we were going to come up with a stupid gimmick on this. Of course we were going to.
We're not even gonna explain asbestos, festus, and pole
Listen,
vaulter.
I get the feeling that you and I will do this significantly more, and that is many a story.
That'll be explained eventually. So just to clarify, you don't see the phallic imagery in this belt design.
So guys, I might lean in here because my right eye is essentially dead, so I can't see much, and I can't be bothered to zoom because I'm a weirdo. Okay. Do you know what? I mean, this thing's like a fucking Rorschach test, man. People seeing owls and people seeing penises. Like, someone's going to see like the face of Jeffrey Dahmer in it or something. I don't know. But, okay, if you want to go with the balls, then fair enough. There's some weird shaped balls, man, but you want to go for it, go for it. But where are we talking about the shaft here, man? Like, where?
Like I said, I've seen people legitimately draw outlines to the shape. Some people are using the gold eagle's body, and some people are just using up through the M.
Mate, I'm sure that people could somehow draw like the all-seeing eye of the Illuminati on this belt. You know, like it's we can be constructive with our creativity, and we can make all sorts of wonderment be real. You know, but no, to all you guys who want us to corroborate you guys on the penality, you
don't agree, no?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, if that's the case, y'all need to get some sex, because you are clearly reaching for things that just aren't there, including your own. I'm so seductive.
No, I was just leaving the silence there for that to be absorbed there. Do you remember that time Sin Cara had a shirt with a cock on it?
Yeah, now that was a cock, and also because this is what I was going to mention as well. Because obviously I'm quite a big UFC fan, and Lesnar when did he debut the chest tattoo? When did he debut
2006, 2007?
Yeah, because he had it for his first fight with a Korean guy. I'm pretty sure.
I think he got it. Did he not around the time he was in the NFL? Well, got dropped by the NFL or
by the Minnesota Vikings. And that, I mean, to segue, man, and to speak of how much of a freaky dude that guy is, for a guy that had never really played football, right? He was in the final two of the people that were cut. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, people would generally give him shit because he was cut. This is a guy who'd never properly played football.
That's like me. I mean, I don't know much about NFL, so it'd be hard to draw like an accurate comparison. But that'd be like me going on trial at like, I don't know, like Bournemouth, right? And me like being like 2 or 3 away from getting a contract. Like, I played football a little bit when I was younger, and I wasn't great at it, right? And
I should mention, my YouTube analytics state that 83% of my viewers are from the United States, so Bournemouth, they'll be all just looking at you like, what the fuck is this English guy talking about?
Listen, Bournemouth is a wondrous place, okay? And what Bournemouth is filled with is old people. So as a result of Bournemouth being filled with old people, there is a delightful residual stench of piss and peppermints. So if you are to ever find yourself, American people, in Bournemouth, or as we like to call it, Bournemouth, then you will too see that there is a wondrous amount of just lingering urine and a little bit of biscuit chucked in, a little bit of custard creams if you guys have that. I don't know if you guys have custard creams. If you don't, get some.
Just a quick sidebar to everyone watching this. I'm not going to have them back. Don't worry. When you started talking about the fucking custard creams and the smell, I'm like, where is this going?
Oh, man. It was just turned into a promo where all of a sudden I was just like ranting about like the education system.
See, this is literally that scene from The Office where Michael's explaining, he's like, when I start a sentence, sometimes I don't even know where it's going.
Yeah.
You're just, were you hoping I would save you halfway through that by just cutting in?
Well, sorry, you say that as if it needed to be saved. So there was no requirement for any salvaging there. Like that was a wonderful monologue, which just gave insight to many people who might not know about South Coast English towns. And here I am. There is a distinct chance that they might not give a shit. But even if they don't, they have left this somewhat enriched by the information they weren't expecting to receive, but have subsequently received. So, guys, you are very welcome. But again, to segue, if we're talking about the United States, to weirdly go back to the topic.
This video started about a belt, did it not?
It started about a belt and has now turned onto the sort of stinky stench of pee-pee and biscuits and peppermints. Do they even know what peppermints are? I don't know. I really don't. If you guys have peppermints, I wouldn't go mad about them. Check the custard creams out first. They're a lot better.
Just imagine reading the comments to this video, just announcing, yes, we have custard creams, what are peppermints, all this shit. And like at the end, oh, the belt looks okay. Cheers.
Where does this guy think that we're from like a third world country or something? It's like when Americans do it. It's like, hey, do y'all guys have sports? And it's just like, yeah,
sports.
Yeah, do you guys have sports? Yeah, we do have them. We're not
sports
that
like
great.
Soccer.
We're not that great at them, particularly north of the border where I still reside.
Hey, we're really good at things. Celtic win all the time.
You are. No, you guys are amazing at curling. Like, when it comes to curling, like, you guys just tear shit up. Like, it's almost scary how you guys are at this sport that everybody cares about.
Every single Canadian cares about.
A lot of Canadians in your analytics? Are there, Paul? A lot of Canadian fans?
I don't know, actually. The top two are UK and US. US by far. I think US is 83, UK was about 14, and then other.
So about 83%, that means you have 15 American viewers. Like, about 3 guys from, like, Dumfries. And that's just you, and then Neil Malone. Sorry, we might have
Dave Meltzer of Scottish wrestling.
we might have to cut that because he really might actually watch this. But yeah, the Dave. Listen, guys, you guys will be familiar with Dave Meltzer, right? And I want you to know that Dave Meltzer is not a patch. He's not even a quarter of the man.
He is barely a speck.
He's molecular in comparison to the Svengali of wrestling journalism. Not just in Tayside, not just in Scotland. I'm talking about the whole of Europe, son. I'm talking about this big old continent that we have left. He is the man. Neil Malone. Google that. Go on YouTube. Watch his stuff and just appreciate what you are being given. Because that's why you live life, to experience those moments, right? You just need to. Neil Malone, YouTube, check it out. Anyway,
right. I should say, after about the first 10 minutes of this video, I decided I'm not really going to do much editing because it would take too long. So all of this is staying in.
Oh, great. There might be a couple of things you have to say. I can't even remember because, my photographic memory, I've completely forgotten some of the things I've said. If I've caused any offense to anyone. Right. The US belt.
Oh, yeah, that's what this was about, wasn't it?
The belt. We're talking about belts.
I'm pretty sure the first 4 minutes of this video were about the belt. Then it was all about Bournemouth and US soccer teams.
I was about to mention how awful my lockdown haircut has actually becoming, but I mean, it is really bad actually. Sorry guys for having to look at what is essentially a big looking Pidgeot. I really can't help it.
I'll probably have to edit that part out, but I'll forget.
I didn't even think. Hey, just bleep it. Just cut.
I'm going to be editing this in the middle of the night, so if I leave that in, I'm sorry, viewers. He's what he is.
Listen, like, there's nothing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's out there.
That's a time check for where I'm cutting it.
That's a wrap. We're going to cut it there. Thank you very much. Please, off you go. You've been cancelled. Right. The US belt. Oh, it's as if J.K. Rowling wrote me for one of her many books. To return to the point that you didn't even ask me about, because I'm going to segue before I literally cause an international incident.
There it is.
The US belt, for me, personally, no one cares about my opinion at all because they're watching Paulmartinbelts. Got this, Hey, come on now. We're best buds, man. We're brothers. Like, you don't do that stuff to me. Don't do that stuff to me. How dare you? You should value my. I
was taking a shot at myself, idiot.
I didn't even really listen. I'll be honest.
You didn't hear it properly, did you? I said no one cares about my opinion either, and you took offence to that.
Mate, I'm just a typical left-wing snowflake. Like, the moment, I really am. Like, everything's about me. Everything is meant to cause offence and outrage. So, do you know what? Before we return to me, and the structure of this is the arsehole was falling right out of it. Because I don't even know if you actually asked, in terms of like hierarchically, if you actually answered my question, where would you put it?
Oh yeah,
If you want to go,
that is
we
where we
really
started off on
fucking
this
veered.
tangent, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was I
And we
completely forgot. I was trying to piece it back together in my mind a few minutes ago as to how we got
do that.
around the Bournemouth stage. I was like, wait, how did we get to this? It was through this question. Okay, so hierarchy. Where does this rank for me as far WWE? You mean? Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. I mean, I think my original question was big companies, but if we want to focus WWE, then yeah.
I mean, if we're talking big companies, it's difficult to look past the IWGP Heavyweight and IC as very near the top at the least.
I think IWGP Heavy's top, but sorry, carry on.
I probably would agree. I'd have to properly think if there's any belts I'm forgetting. IWGP V4 is an absolutely legendary belt, so it's difficult to compete with that. The IC as well for IWGP on the white strap is really good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But this US belt, you know what? I've had it on my screen, as you'll probably see in the reflection there. I've had it on my screen this whole time, and the more I look at it, the details themselves, I'm liking it more and more. Like, so many people are hating on this thing, but I'm actually starting to really quite like it.
Good, man.
As far as where it ranks, I'm trying to look and trying to remember what belts WWE currently use. I mean, I'll put it above the logo belts, so the two women's and the two heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it above the 2019 IC because I don't like the paint scheme. I will put it above the IC, although I would prefer the IC if it had the paint scheme that I'm doing on my custom one. So,
check it out.
Yeah. The NXT belts, I think I prefer it to the NXT heavyweight and women's.
Yeah, I'd say so too, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The NXT North American I like a lot.
Yeah.
I do like the NXT North American a lot.
Yeah.
But that being said, because of the amount I work with belts, and the North American is, like I explained earlier, it's a 2D belt, so it's flat with one layer, whereas this thing is so much more detailed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a very long answer to a very short question.
I'm trying to think, what belt in WWE currently do I prefer to this thing? Because I mean, WWE doesn't currently have any belt designs that are as amazing as the Winged Eagle, Big Eagle, Undisputed, Big Gold. None of their belts come close to those.
No.
Personally, I mean.
No, I agree, 100%. I completely agree.
And I was massively attached to the 2002 US belt, the one that this one has just replaced. But
I know you were.
I've always liked the flag US belt a lot. I'm
but
not sure.
To once more deviate, and we will get to this answer because we've asked the question, to unanswer it would just be poor broadcasting. You have made, for me, the coolest iteration of a US belt before this came along, definitely, that I've probably ever seen, with the custom one that you made, the one that you had in your room.
The flag. That one's in the cabinet down over there. You probably can't see it. Right there, that's it. The flag US belt. There's another US belt up there. Oh, I've got a WCW US belt up there as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. He has a lot of belts.
There's a fair few. There's many on the floor as well. I've actually lost count of how many belts I personally own now, which is disgusting.
As we'd say in South London, you've got bare belt dem. That's what we've got time for, folks. Thank you for joining with Paulmartinbelts. No, so really then, by process of elimination, where would you have it? Would you honestly have it probably close towards the top, if not at the top?
I mean, it is close to the top, certainly.
Yeah.
Because well, like I said before, I appreciate the Universal, the women's, the heavyweight. I appreciate the real copies of them, the ones that are used on TV, because they're so detailed and they're really well made.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I look at it, might just be because it sat right in front of me looking at the design. I don't think there's a belt currently in WWE that they use right now that I prefer to it. There might be some that are I like equally. But the detail on the eagle's wings, the texturing, even the little stars that under the United States, they're popping out from the plate. They look really cool.
I like that a lot. Yeah, and that's something I hadn't noticed at first glance, and I've only
Yeah.
noticed upon closer inspection. And yeah, I really like that too.
See, that's another, like, you'll know the CNC that can do that detail popping
Yeah,
out from the plate like that with the different levels. Honestly, the more I look at it, the more I like it. So I think it'd be fair to assume that that will continue to be the case. And when I see it in person, I would probably assume I'd like it even more.
yeah, that's a fair
It,
shout, man.
it's certainly near the top of my favorites of current WWE belts. Whether it is the top, I probably need to see one in person to give a
Mhm,
full, like, informed opinion. But I
mhm.
mean, I like it more than I did when we started recording this about 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, and the more I look at it, I mean, no one's asked my opinion, but who am I not to give it without prompting? I I would probably say it's for me, it's up there as well. I love the North American title. It's one of those titles that didn't even really need time to grow on me when they
Mm.
unveiled it. I can't remember the specific scenario in which it was unveiled, but when it was unveiled, it just immediately I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, that's as good as the belt they've got. I love the the UK Championship, and I still do love it. But
Yeah.
you and your bloody constructivism, expertise, and bollocks ruining my enjoyment. I just want to be a mark for a minute. I just want to be a mark for a minute of my life without you coming in and pissing my Weetabix and making me just look at things from a different perspective that I didn't want to look at. Yeah, bastard.
My God, you are
Um,
a snowflake.
I really am, honestly, mate. Like, I hate everyone. Like, if you even so much as sneeze near me, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Um,
There it
wow,
is.
wow, there it is. J.K. Rowling again. She's up.
There's
No,
another edit point.
I'm so sorry. I honestly like my um I when I was 18 months old, I told two women in a lift to fuck off. And my mum was implored, get this kid checked to see if he's got Tourette's or something like that, right? And I don't, apparently, but like I think of things and my mouth opens and the associated sounds just come out and they cause
Oh,
all
I
sorts
am
of
well aware of that. Now, what I will say is I will cut that previous bit out, but I'm leaving the explanation in.
Yeah,
So,
no, or what you could do, which would be even funnier, is just splice you over, just saying something wildly less offensive. Like, especially when we were talking about the certain, look at the adjective, to describe the Pidgeot, you could just put nice. And it's just your voice,
he's
just
got a
going, no.
nice.
He's gonna, right, that's gonna stay in my weird, contorted, lazy eye, big nosed, rubbish haircut face, all included.
Okay,
Right,
well,
to
you summed
return
up most of the comments that are going to be on this video.
Oh, mate, I'm getting in ahead of them. I'm getting ahead of them. Like, they're going to be all on me for the state of my triple-chinned face.
Speaking of comments,
Comments!
I want
Comments.
to actually take a look and get your opinion
Yeah.
on a few of the comments that I'm just going to read through a few things that we'll go on
Yeah.
Facebook first because I
I'm probably
posted as soon
going to
as
go
the
first.
belt debuted on TV. I posted that image, so the image of it being shown on TV. So not the best lighting,
Nope.
not a great looking photo, but
What was the opinion of the man, Dem?
so
What
the
were
first
they
comment,
saying?
who's the champ? That's not helpful. Don't know if that's
They've
a
done
literal
well.
question or the guy just doesn't know.
Or if he wanted to answer with, I'm the champ.
Yeah, let's
He
continue.
might have done. He might have done.
Yeah, someone's replying could have had more blue paint at the top, so we've discussed that.
Yep.
Yeah, another comment about the blue paint. This comment, it's brash, classless, and basic. So it's a
Ooh.
perfect representation of America.
Oh, and that's 83% of your fan base
That
kicking
is,
the fuck
I,
off.
my God, Richard is taking shots at the US right now.
Well, Richard, living up to the abbreviated version of your name, I will be honest with you, buddy. Let's not bring race into this, man. Let's not bring countries into this. Let's not bring nationalities into this. Is a particularly sensitive time in the global order, my friend. We all need to be unified. We don't need to be further divided by lines of nationality and rubbish paint jobs on a belt. We all need to be together. We need to be together as one.
Preach.
Rich. Yeah, no, to be honest with you, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Fair play, Richard. Fair play.
A couple of comments saying, well, a lot of people actually disliking the fact that WWE belts nowadays all have the removable side plates, which means for the most part, I'm pretty sure all of them that do have the removable side plates are 3-plate belts. So obviously the previous US belt had, well, at one point it had 6 plates. The one it replaced recently had 5 plates. Because occasionally in the older version had a separate logo plate. But yeah, a lot of people I'm seeing don't like the fact that all the belts are becoming 3-platers now. And well, a lot of people seem surprised that this belt also includes the side plate gimmick, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I mean, the whole point of these side plates is so that we can produce them for every wrestler and sell replicas. I mean, the whole point of the side plates is they're like nameplates, but they cost a lot more to buy for customers. So, I mean, the side plate gimmick isn't going anywhere. When the tags get replaced, eventually, they'll almost certainly have the circular side plates as well to be removable. What belt, other than the tags, is left that doesn't have removable side plates at this point? Is it just the tags? All the NXTs do?
I love it how you're asking me this.
I think it's just the tags. They're the only ones that I can think of.
It's nothing else is springing to mind. No.
I mean, all the belts are going to go to 3 plates, or at the very least have the removable side plate. This comment: why are the eagle's legs so far spread? Looks like it's got a big silver rock stuck up its ass. Also, from far away, it looks like the gaps between the eagle's head and wings are a pair of breasts on a fish body. Not liking it all myself. All these new belts look like cheap toys.
So, first of all, with the rock stuck up the bum, not only should we not be divided by national lines, let's not kink shame people. Let's not kink shame people, okay? This is 2020, man. If you want to rock up your bum, have a rock up your bum, and I'll smell what you're cooking.
Fuck's sake.
This guy. I think people really do see what they want to see in belts sometimes, not just belts, other things as well. Fair play to you once more. I'm just going to repeat this kind of end to the reaction to comments. Fair play to you. Everyone's entitled to your own opinion.
I'll rattle through a few more just quickly. A few of them comparing it. Well, I mean, obviously they've both debuted recently, but a lot of comparisons to the AEW TNT title. I mean, they're nothing similar. But because they've both debuted recently, people are saying, and the AEW one is at present unfinished. It needs plating done to it. Whenever that will be done, I'm not sure. But because they both debuted recently, it's pretty much people seem to be saying, this is their new offering, this is their new offering, fight. And, well, almost everyone seems to prefer this to the AEW TNT belt. Again, the TNT belt ain't finished, so not really a comparison that can be made. A lot of people now saying they miss the old version that this just replaced. Quite a few people posting photos of, the old NWA US belt. That's a nice US belt.
Yeah, so I don't think it was that. I do think it was the TV title I'm referring to. And again, someone's most likely going to call me an idiot, and you can probably correct me yourself.
Don't worry. At this point, this video's gone on so long, no one's watching anymore.
Then which is fine. I'm cool with that, man. I'm just happy to chat with my brother. It's that old belt's a nice belt. You're always going to get that though, man. Like with me, like when you are exposed to change the first time, most people are resistant to it. And that belt had a long time. It had a long time for people to get acclimated to it. So
I mean, the US belt that was just replaced, I think I'm right in saying, is the longest tenured belt design WWE has ever had in one continuous spell, because it was 2002-3 to 2020. The classic IC, do I have one anywhere? Oh, there's one there, but it's out of camera frame. The classic IC, so obviously the one that, say, Macho Man held, that design was obviously in two iterations. It was the classic one, then it went to the oval, then it went back to the classic when Cody brought it back. That one, I think, in total length of time, has been around for 1 year more. But other than that, I think I'm right in saying the flag US belt is the longest single iteration of a belt design.
When? Because it was merged with the IC at Survivor Series 01, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
The US? No, that was the European and the hardcore, was it not? The US debuted in 2002 or 3. Because
No. I'm not saying it debuted then. Because that was gonna be my next.
Do you mean the
sort of thing.
WCW US?
Yeah, because it didn't. They wasn't it. Who was it? It was Edge versus someone, wasn't it? I probably got this completely wrong. I remember Edge. I think he.
I'm
had
struggling to
the.
remember this now. I remember RVD
Mate,
unified the IC and the Euro, and I think the Hardcore and the IC.
Yeah, mate, I had that on VHS. Shout out to VHS. Big shout out to VHS. And I still can't remember it, which is mad. So I can't even remember what was the sort of premise of it being introduced in 2002. I can't even remember.
Was it not just the brand split that they needed their own mid card title? I can't remember if there was any.
Oh yeah, I should rephrase that then. That's obviously the premise. But what was the actual scenario? Like
I seem to remember Stephanie. Was it not when Stephanie was GM and she just set up a tournament? Because I remember.
Sorry,
GM Stephanie, I know. Because I remember because I remember the US belt when it first debuted. The WWE one was tiny, and then it eventually got made bigger. I remember it sitting in her GM office, I'm sure, and then they were just announcing a tournament. I could be wrong on that. I can't quite remember.
Mate, I will defer to you on that because my memory is.
Either way, I'm going to rattle through a few more comments of people's opinions. I don't think the word champion is big enough, and but the bird with sunglasses is a nice touch.
The bird with. Hang on a minute. Right, this is becoming a Rorschach test. It really is. Like, this is just entirely it's entirely interpretive. I don't see it. I don't want to keep you too long, so I've waffled too long. Rattle through. Sorry.
Yeah, a couple more comments about the lack of paint on the side plates, like I mentioned earlier.
That's fair criticism.
Someone saying, "Damn, they ruined all the mid-card titles," and then someone, "I love it." The very next comment, "I hate it." It's nice.
So in short, it's pretty divisive. It seems pretty divisive.
Oh, there's more people hating it. There's definitely more people hating it.
Interesting.
Oh, and another comment. Why an owl? Oh, and then he replied, "Never mind. I see it's an eagle now. You got to zoom in, or it definitely looks like an owl." I mean, you can interpret, like you said, it can be interpreted. An owl, a cock and balls, sunglasses. Another comment, why fix what isn't broken? Honestly, I'm very disappointed with this design and I'll miss the original title. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Someone said it's simple. Is it?
Are they criticizing or lauding it?
Literally simple. The word simple. Could be praise, could be criticism.
Maybe
it's literally just a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'll go quickly onto Instagram and see if I've got any more different
comments. Did you?
Oh, Jesus, my Instagram post has over 250 comments.
Oh, fucking hell, mate, I ain't got all day.
Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, the first one that came up looks like a Divas Championship.
Okay.
I
disagree.
I probably don't agree with that one, to be honest.
No, I disagree.
Sure. It's not horrible. It's not perfect. I actually like it. I don't really like it.
What a roller coaster of a critique.
That was just up and down there. I didn't know where I was going. The next comment, what a pile of shit. And then someone...
That's how you really feel.
Someone commented, don't spoil it by posting it, stupid. I haven't watched Raw yet. And I forgot I replied to this when I first woke up because it was the first comment I saw. So I replied, no one cares, mate, with a thumbs up because I was a dickhead. And I got 30 likes. I got 30 likes for being an arsehole. Don't like shit when I'm being a dick. I woke up and it was my first comment.
Buddy, okay? Just be a huge anus.
I mean...
Yeah, no, it does certainly... I mean, the weird spoiler thing aside, it does certainly seem like there's a lot more in the con camp than the pro camp.
Oh, honestly, I'll read a few more. Like, well, a comment, still better than the TNT Championship. Again, they're not linked in the slightest. Another comment, come on, they just don't give a fuck anymore, do they? With 2 thumbs down. Then the very next comment, gorgeous belt. My honest opinion, looks like shit. And then the next comment, looks really nice. This is legit. And then the next one, they fucked up this title. What the fuck is that shit? With 8 laughing faces and 3 vomiting faces.
Oh, wow. It really induced nausea. Fair enough. You must have a really visceral attachment to wrestling belts, and you might need to seek help.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that love it. I'll certainly say that, but there is definitely more people that don't like it. I'll stop with the comments for there. I'll stop it at
Thank
that.
you,
But
everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your relatively all over the shop comments, I guess.
actually, yeah,
Thanks.
I mean, it's rare that. Well, I mean, most belts WWE debut nowadays get a lot of hate,
Yeah.
but it's normally quite split. This one is just by looking at my comments, and my comments are by no means a census of anything.
Yeah, it's again, I think there's an element to kind of return to a previously mentioned point. There's an element of resistance to change. There is obviously just going to be a lot of people that don't like the aesthetic. I don't really get the femininity aspect of it. Like, it's, to me, again, it kind of mirrors certain historic wrestling belts which were male exclusive. So I personally don't see it myself, but I would imagine it will be one of those things that the more people are exposed to it, and especially if someone looks really good wearing it,
Yeah,
especially if there's someone that it looks really good on. I mean, looking at that belt, I mean, we've mentioned MVP. Do you think that's gonna suit the current champ, Apollo? I don't know. Like, I don't really know. I kind of think the last one did. I don't know if this one will.
well, the old US title design I found fit. I found it suited a lot of people, to be honest. I think it was a nice shape. It was colorful and bright, so I thought it kind of
Yeah.
it, it accentuated a lot. Like if people had gear that matched any of the color schemes at all, it kind of matched that even.
Yeah.
I mean, this one has the same color. I mean, I don't think it will look bad on Apollo. That is
No.
if he even retains. MVP could win it, and
You imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I will. He's god tier on the mic with regards to people.
since he came back, he's been great. Apart from that 1-6-1-9 he took to the back from Rey
6-1
Mysterio.
spine, yeah, 6-1 spine, yeah.
6-1
When
spine, that was it.
it's good because I mean that obviously was widely reported to be his swan song at the time, wasn't it?
It was supposedly his retirement match, wasn't it?
And then he was like, "Nah, I ain't having that," and he came back and just started balling, just doing as he does. To answer, I'm coming. To answer my
Nobody
own.
stop me. Nobody control me.
Such a tune.
It
It's no wonder that Brock was bopping to that at
Lesnar
Rumble, man.
dancing to that at Rumble was fucking amazing.
I was great. That and the Shelton stuff, big boy
And
yeah,
Big Boy, yeah.
big boy. Ooh,
And then
I was all
that bastard won it.
So
Still
for
not
those
happy
of
about
you,
that.
for those of you from the United States, as we've already established, there is quite a significant amount. Paul doesn't like Drew because Drew likes a football team that is ideologically and religiously opposed to Paul's own.
I mean, the religious part isn't really relevant, but I mean, the team certainly is, but that's not relevant to my disliking. I just dislike him passionately because of the football team he supports and no other reason.
I mean that's what I was getting at. I meant the teams were more diametrically opposed than you and Drew personally, individually. But to get away from any fucking sectarian conversation that might possibly be had.
And literally the only reason I dislike Drew is because he supports Rangers.
Nothing to do with the fact
and how
that
I will
he is
passionately cheer against him anytime we're watching a pay-per-view.
Do you not think, though, that he, apart from Lesnar, and I'm trying to think, and this is even with people that I love, like AJ and to a lesser extent Seth, like he, for me, and I'll see if you believe this as well, do you not think he kind of stands out as like a champion that you could kind of just pop in any era and he would just kind of look, even just based on look alone, really? I mean, I see him with a title now, and it's just like
I mean, not just look-wise, but style-wise, and his promos, the aggression he has on the mic.
He's so confident in the minute. Like he doesn't, and I think he said as much in his own interviews. Like he has no fear about going out and obviously sticking to what the fundamentals of what
right now he's literally the man. Like
he's
the face of WWE right now. Like. As they're portraying in this amazing lockdown era.
Yeah, I know, and it's incredible.
See, that's the only downside for him is the fact that his title reign is literally in the lowest, arguably the lowest point in wrestling history. 1995 aside.
If you want to go from a sheer ratings perspective, then it's even lower than that. From creatively, if you guys want to whinge about now, just go back and watch that stuff, man. Like seriously, I'm watching '96 now, right? And a lot of people see '96 as a bit of a mixed bag. Like even some of the stuff, like Farouk, like debuting as a giant fucking condom. Like it could be a lot worse, man.
Oh
It
shit, he
really,
did, didn't he?
yeah, and basically, you know what? I don't even want to add anything to that. He was a giant prophylactic. That's exactly what he was, right? So if you guys think that it's bad now, just go back and watch that. But yeah, he really is someone. And to segue, actually, he's someone that I think would look great with that belt. And I think that belt there, the topic of conversation, is probably going to be more adaptable to other people. Because even though you say that the old US belt looked better, looked good, excuse me, on a lot of people, I don't necessarily agree. I think it really looked like I've mentioned Owens. I didn't really like it on him at all.
Okay, fair point. Yeah.
I thought it looked dumb as fuck on Jinder. I don't know why. I just thought it looked because the WWE title looked amazing on him.
And forgot Jinder was US champ. In all honesty.
Yeah, well, he was US champ for like 2 weeks, wasn't he? But I remember him coming out.
He won it at Mania, didn't he?
Yeah, he won it. Oh my god! But like, because obviously he came with the WWE belt, and it was like, wow, he looks like. I mean, entrance and that. As soon as the belt,
there was like a 3-week spell where because his entrance changed like every couple of weeks. Like they changed the carpet coming out, they changed the design. There was like a 3-week spell where his entrance was so good, like it was timed perfectly that he had like that. He had his headpiece and he had the bit over the mouth, and there would be a point where he like pulled it down, and then the flaming red carpet would start, and he would walk. His walk was timed perfectly to the music.
Yeah,
and it was so good. And then like they changed it next week with like a different pattern. It looks shit.
His first entrance, he got so gassed because he was doing. No, I don't mean blown up. I mean that's just like a London term for that. He got so excited and like just pumped up. Like he was walking way in front of his carpet.
He was,
and you could just see he was just sort of like, oh, I should probably slow down, but I'm not going to. But like this, that belt for me personally, to fly in the face of your expertise and to establish my own. I thought it didn't really suit a lot of people. I remember it looking quite silly on Matt Hardy as well. My own personal opinion, I thought it looked quite silly on him. There was a couple of people looked great on Cena. All belts. Actually, I say all belts look good on Cena. I don't think Big Gold looked good on Cena at all. I did not like Big Gold on Cena.
See, the Big Gold's one belt where I look at and I'm like, it can't really look bad on anyone.
That's what I thought. That's honestly what I thought. No, actually, it looks awful on show. I do not like it on show.
Oh, every belt looks bad on Big Show. Come on.
Well, I guess, but I'm watching '96. Obviously, WCW again. Haven't for a while, but I was until recently. It looks so dumb on him. It looks so like on Flair. It's like it's made for him. You know what I mean? Even crazy '96 Flair, which by this point he's just gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna be just as crazy as I want to be. But then to see it on show, it didn't look right. And I think this belt really will suit kind of more people. I really think it will. And I think
people will definitely come. I think it will. Yeah, I can see what you mean. It is kind of a pardon the pun, universal belt in that it's got, I don't know, it's got the shape of it kind of flows nicely. And I think it will look good when it's held, because there's a few belts that are really bulky when they're held and they look awkward to hold. Yeah. This one, with its cutting, it will sit on the shoulder really nice. So I think it has the potential to look really good in promo shots and shit like that.
So if they're going down the route of Lashley beating Apollo for it, I think it will look really good.
Oh, I would love to see that belt on Lashley. That would look badass.
I think it'll look badass on him. It kind of, for me, now I'm looking at it, now I've actually thought about Lashley, and I'm probably going to botch this completely, so sorry to anyone that has any sort of care for sort of accurate belt references and stuff. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the TNA title that Moose is now carrying around, a little bit. And it looked, I'd never really, oh, hang on, I'm not on, I assume you're pointing at it. I don't know why I'm saying when I can't even see it. I never really watched TNA ever, apart from like the glory days when it was on.
When it was on Bravo and Challenge. And TWC Fight.
TWC
the wrestling channel. The wrestling channel the best.
Shout out to TWC and TWC.
I still remember
Big
watching
shout.
IWW, Irish Whip Wrestling, on there. I remember it was a show filmed in a pub, and the champion at the time was Sheamus O'Shaughnessy. Sheamus now in WWE.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure his opponent was Drew Galloway. Drew McIntyre. Drew was on the show. I can't remember if he was Sheamus's opponent, but I remember seeing Sheamus being like, oh my God, look at this big, pasty, white, ginger monster.
Look at this albino. Like, oh, mate. Right, we're going to have to edit this because I need to go for a pee anyway. But, mate, that picture you sent me of Sheamus getting in the ring with his bare ass, if I was to watch that now, I would genuinely soak myself with urine.
I remember coming across that on Twitter. Just to be clear, it's a photo of Sheamus that has been photoshopped where he's bending over to get into the ring.
I thought that was
photoshopped, so his trunks have been photoshopped out. So it literally just looks like this bare arse Sheamus is just out in front of the world, in the middle of the ring, bare arse naked, apart from his boots and wristbands, obviously. Okay, we're going to finish this video up because, I mean, let's be frank, no one's watching at this point. If you stuck around this long or just skipped to the end, which would make more sense, well done to you.
Well done.
When Aaron went away to piss there, I went and got a box that was just delivered, and it's from Euroshop. And this is one I was really excited about. And actually, after we finish filming this, I now have to go and film this in my workshop. So yeah, I've opened the box, but this is one I have been excited about. Just smack myself in the head with it.
Oh, you're such a tit. Oh, it's great.
Okay, just to explain to you, because you won't be familiar, this is a brand new remake of the Undisputed belt. The old Undisputed replica from 2004 was like, the old replicas were all 2mm thick, and their details were just stamped into sheet metal. Newer replicas are casted metal, and this one looks fucking amazing on photos. So, okay, the strap is fucking loud as anything. Look at that. It's Eddie's boots. If you
wow, it really is. It's quite violent, isn't it?
It is very loud.
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
This thing, honestly.
Oh, you bastard.
I will tell you what, that looks...
Muy caliente.
Oh, sí, señor.
Oh.
I will tell you what. Okay, I will be doing a comparison video of both of these as standard. Just...
Wow.
There is, honestly, right off the bat, there is no comparison to be made.
There's so much going on it.
I'm not even talking about... Like, that one's 2mm thick. This one is 6mm thick.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were speaking about that specifically. Sorry, dude. Yeah, it's noticeable. Yeah, for sure.
And the strap, Latino heat, and I think it's Lychee steel. Yeah.
I like that a lot, and it's something I really shouldn't, because it's kind of the antithesis of things that I look for in belts, and I really like it.
Yeah. This thing looks amazing, honestly. Yeah. Really impressed with that. Okay, that will do for this video. Just an impromptu unboxing at the end of it, and now I get to go film this. Okay, we'll finish this up there. I'm going to have to edit this at some point to cut it down and take out all the inappropriate shit. But that being said, I don't know how long this has gone on for. I want to thank my friend Aaron for joining me on this chat.
Pleasure, man.
Let's see. We might see him again at some point.
Listen, if I've not been cancelled or doxxed or anything like that, then you might see me again, unless you guys spam the comments talking about a variety of offensive things that will offend my left-wing snowflake sensibilities. Because if you do that, then fuck yous. I ain't coming back. I'm going to go and do what I do best, which is absolutely nothing. But nah, seriously, man, thank you for having me. It's been, I mean, I would talk to you any day of the week, brother. It's good crack regardless. But, you know, to make my Zoom and YouTube debut,
Yeah, I've never
birds,
used
one
Zoom
stone.
before. Who knows? This recording could be corrupted completely, and we've lost
It
everything.
could have been a giant offensive waste of time. But no, seriously, man, thank you for having me on. Sorry if I've waffled. Sorry to you guys in the comments if you find me a particularly jarring individual. Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't give a fuck, man. I really don't care. If you want to find that, then that's up to you. But you're wrong. No, thanks, man, for having me on. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's good stuff. And yeah, to see you guys maybe again soon. Who knows?
Okay, so that'll be enough of this. Thank you, everyone that actually stuck around and watched this. On a normal video that's about 6 minutes long, my retention rate at the end of the video is only about 8% of people.
Oh shit, is it?
Oh yeah, YouTube retention rate goes like that. My average view, I think my average viewer is like 5 minutes, 50 odd seconds in a video. And after that, it just goes downhill. So on like a 10, 15-minute video, it's only about 8% of people that stick around to the end. So on this one.
Wow.
Oh yeah, but YouTube only counts clicks anyway, so people can stick around for a minute and click off. It's fine. It's great. But that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video for whatever reason, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, thank you for watching. Cheers. That's what they do, isn't it?
That's what Austin was doing the whole time. Do you remember that one guy? He used to come to the ring and go,
and then he'd spray it all over himself.
And then he'd go, what?
You go, what?
Drink
oh, hell yeah.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP. And if you want to get one of the greatest belts made for you, go to Paulmartinbelts. That's right, sucker.